All right, welcome back to the deep dive. Today we're diving into the astrological sign of Gemini.
Yes,
So if you were born like between May 21st and June 20th,
roughly. Yeah.
then this one's really for you.
Mhm.
But I think even if you're not a Gemini,
Right.
there's still going to be some really interesting stuff to uncover here.
Absolutely.
Because I think this whole idea of duality and the twins, it applies even if you're not a Gemini, you know?
Exactly.
So we've got like a whole stack of articles and research.
Yeah.
And our mission today is really to kind of like boil it down, you know?
Yes.
And really look at like what makes a Gemini and how that whole like twins thing really
Yeah.
kind of like manifests in their lives.
Right.
So Gemini, the twins, right?
Yeah.
It's an air sign.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, right off the bat, air signs are often associated with like communication and intellect. And,
Intellect, yeah.
and it's ruled by Mercury, right?
That's right.
And Mercury's that planet associated with communication and how we process information and how we learn.
Yeah.
So, you know, right away you get a sense of this kind of like quickness and mental agility
Right.
and this real kind of drive to connect through ideas.
Absolutely.
And
And the fact that,
and something else I think is really important is that it's a mutable sign,
yeah,
right?
absolutely.
And so I think like mutable, it doesn't just mean like adaptable, but it means like
Mm-hmm.
being able to like transition between different states, you
Yeah.
know?
Absolutely.
And actually one of our research papers, it actually highlighted how Geminis, they can navigate different social environments,
Yeah.
almost like they've got this like innate understanding of
Right.
different group dynamics, you
Yeah.
know?
Right.
And this really kind of contributes to their social nature and
Yeah.
their constant like search for the next stimulating experience.
Absolutely.
Right. Totally.
They're these incredible idea generators.
Yeah. I mean, like, they're always buzzing with thoughts and possibility, and like their minds are always just going and going and going.
It's like their minds were always exploring these different avenues.
Totally.
Yeah.
Totally.
Right.
But this whole symbol of the twins, right?
Yes.
Like this keeps coming up in our material, and it seems like it's this real central theme of duality.
Yes.
You know, it's almost like it's a source of their strengths, but also some potential like internal conflicts.
Totally. And I think it's important to understand
Yeah.
that, you know, the duality as presented in our sources isn't about being deceptive or anything like that,
Yeah.
but it's really about the fact that they can appreciate multiple perspectives.
Right.
They can almost embody different aspects of a situation.
Yeah.
That's like trying on different lenses
Mm-hmm.
to get a more complete view.
Yeah.
And so this complexity, I think, is something that we really want to like dig into,
Yeah, let's do it.
you know?
So I think we should start by looking at like the strength.
Yeah.
You know, some of the core strengths that we see
absolutely.
over and over again in our research.
Yeah.
I mean, one thing that really stands out to me is just like how witty they are.
Oh, absolutely.
You know, like they've got this like lightning fast wit.
Yes.
So it's like, you know, they're the people who can like instantly grasp a concept or like come up with the perfect like, you know, comeback or just like make a joke.
Totally.
And our material is really suggesting that this intellectual agility
Yeah.
is like a real hallmark of the Gemini mind.
Totally. And you know what's fascinating is that
Yeah.
this mental quickness that they have,
Yeah.
it allows them to engage with
Yeah.
such a broad range of topics.
Yeah.
You know, they can go from talking about like philosophy
Yeah.
to giving you practical advice
Yeah.
about something totally unrelated. And it's really incredible, you know?
Like it's like that.
It's that versatility of thought
Yeah. Yeah.
that really stands out.
And this versatility, it's like it's tied to this like really deep curiosity, you know?
Oh, absolutely.
Like they genuinely want to understand the world around them, like from every angle.
Totally.
Wow.
It's like they're perpetually in this like exploratory mode.
Yeah.
You know, always asking questions.
Yeah. Yeah.
And this drive to learn,
Yeah.
to experience new things.
Yeah.
It really fuels their dynamism.
Totally.
Yeah.
And it's this this curiosity and this adaptability that makes them so good at reinventing themselves.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, Mao.
Like they're not resistant to change.
Yeah.
They actually embrace it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. They're like, bring it on.
Yeah, totally. Like one of our case studies
Yeah.
was about a Gemini who went through like 3 different careers.
Wow.
And each time they were able to
Yeah.
adapt,
Yeah, yeah.
and really leverage their skills.
So we see these like huge strengths.
Yeah.
But I want to go back to that whole duality thing, and look at where some of the challenges might be.
Yeah, absolutely.
One thing that keeps coming up is restlessness.
Yes.
Like they can have this tendency to move really quickly from one interest to the next.
Right.
It's like they have this mental checklist
Wow.
of things that they want to like explore and experience.
Yeah, you were mentioning before, like, the podcast.
Yeah.
The
And
Portuguese,
pottery.
it's like...
And so while this is obviously a strength,
Yeah.
to be able to have so many interests
Right.
can also be a challenge because,
Yeah.
sometimes it can lead to a lack of focus.
Yeah. It's like having, as one article put it, like 100 tabs open in your brain.
Oh, I like that. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
And all that thinking and processing,
Yeah.
it can be pretty draining.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it can make it hard to really like achieve mastery in any one area.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
And then there's the whole thing about Geminis being,
Yeah.
two-faced.
Yeah.
But actually, our sources are pretty clear
Mhm.
that this isn't about being like malicious or deceptive.
Yeah. Yeah.
It actually seems to be more about just their ability to see
Yes.
multiple perspectives.
Totally.
Like they can genuinely empathize
Yeah.
with different points of view.
Right.
And sometimes that can be misconstrued,
Yeah.
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 Especially by people who have a more fixed
Yeah. Yeah.
perspective,
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's not so much about being like dishonest.
Right.
It's more about this internal exploration and expression of different facets of a situation.
Totally.
They can like understand and even like argue different sides of an issue, and that can be, misinterpreted, I guess.
Absolutely. It can be seen as inconsistent.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
So now let's talk about how all this like manifests
Mhm.
in their relationships.
Yeah.
What kind of connections are they drawn to?
Right.
Well, one thing that's clear from our sources is they need intellectual stimulation.
Yes. Totally.
Like grand gestures are fine.
Yeah.
But it's the mental connection
Yeah.
that really like captivates them.
Okay.
They want partners who can like engage them in these
Yes.
stimulating conversations, who
Yeah.
can like spark their curiosity and
Yeah.
keep them like
Yeah.
mentally engaged.
Totally.
So it's less about
Right.
like the romantic dinners
Yep.
and more about
Yeah.
the lively debate,
Right. Absolutely.
the back and forth that
Yeah.
keeps them like
Yeah.
interested.
Yeah.
And our sources are also saying that like
Mhm.
playful flirtation
Yeah.
and keeping the conversation like energetic
Yeah.
is really important.
Probably, yeah.
They love wit, they love banter,
Mhm.
and they need someone who can kind of like keep the dynamic like fresh.
Right.
Yeah. And if things start to feel stagnant,
Yeah.
that's a real problem.
Totally. Yeah. They need things to be evolving
Yeah.
to really stay engaged.
And that makes sense.
Yeah.
Right?
Right.
Like that ties in with their mutable nature.
Yeah.
The need for movement,
Mhm.
the need for new experiences.
Totally.
So let's talk about career paths.
Yeah. Let's do it.
Like where do Geminis really shine
Yeah.
in the professional world?
Right. Right.
Well, one thing that our sources are pointing to is they're really good at multitasking.
Yeah.
And they have amazing communication skills.
Totally.
So this makes them really well suited for
Yeah.
a lot of different fields.
Yeah.
Media,
Yeah.
writing, sales.
Yeah. Right.
These are some of the things that keep coming up.
Totally. I mean, in media,
Yeah.
that quick thinking,
Yeah.
the ability to grasp all these different subjects,
Yeah.
that's so valuable.
Yeah.
And in writing, obviously,
Yeah.
the talent for language
Yeah.
and being able to generate
Yeah.
creative ideas.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's so important.
And in sales, I can totally see a Gemini.
Oh, yeah.
Like thriving in sales. They've got that charm.
Yeah.
They've got that persuasive communication style,
Mhm.
you know?
And they're so good at connecting with people.
Totally.
That- and articulating their ideas.
Yeah.
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 So I think, sales would be a really good fit.
And even like brainstorming,
Oh, yeah. Totally.
like coming up with innovative campaigns
Yeah.
and solutions.
Yeah.
Like that just seems right up their alley.
Really, yeah.
And they're so social.
Yes.
So they could also be really good at jobs where they're like building connections within a workplace. Like, they might be the ones who like initiate the team building activities or like foster informal communication networks.
Yeah, totally.
But I think it's also important to point out that because their minds are always going, they can be prone to burnout.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, so finding strategies for downtime is really important.
Yeah, they really need to like schedule in some mental defragmentation time.
Right. So let's talk about the mythology of Gemini, Like, what's the story behind the constellation?
Yeah, so the Gemini constellation, it's really interesting.
Yeah.
It comes from Greek mythology.
Right.
And it's the story of Castor and Pollux.
Yeah.
Who were twin brothers.
Yeah.
And they were like inseparable.
Yeah.
And Zeus was so impressed by their bond that he placed them among the stars.
Oh, wow.
And what's really fascinating is that these twins were actually, they were different.
Yeah.
Castor was mortal and Pollux was immortal.
Right.
And this duality, it really reflects the Gemini personality.
Yeah.
It's that blend of logic and imagination, the practical and the ethereal.
Yeah, yeah.
So it's fascinating how these ancient stories can still like inform our understanding
of astrology today.
And it's cool to look at like famous Gemini.
Yeah. Totally.
Because you can really see like these traits playing out in their lives.
Totally. Like Kanye West is a great example.
Yeah.
He's this creative visionary.
Yeah.
With a real mercurial edge.
Yeah, yeah.
He's always shifting. He's got all these ideas.
Yeah.
He's constantly innovating.
Yeah.
And Angelina Jolie.
Yeah, Angelina Jolie.
She's another great example. I mean, she's got this incredible humanitarian work.
Yeah.
She's a successful actress.
Yeah.
And she's constantly reinventing herself.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So she really embodies that adaptability and that ability to pursue a wide range of things.
Yeah.
And then we have Kendrick Lamar.
Oh, Kendrick Lamar, yeah.
His lyrical skill, his wordplay, it's phenomenal.
Yeah.
And it really shows that Gemini mastery of language.
Totally, totally.
Yeah.
So let's talk about an advice for our listeners who are Geminis.
Yeah.
What are some things that we can like pull out from our sources?
Yeah. So one thing that I think is really important for Geminis is to really harness their curiosity.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's such a powerful tool for learning.
Yeah.
For connecting with people. For innovating.
Yeah.
Yeah. So they should really embrace that.
Yeah.
That thirst for knowledge, that thirst for experience.
Totally.
And because their minds are always so active.
Yeah.
I think it's also really helpful to have some strategies for like managing that.
Yeah.
Mindfulness meditation.
Yeah.
Journaling.
Yeah.
These things can be really helpful in quieting the mind and helping them to focus.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I think it's also important for Geminis to to really engage with their interests.
Yeah.
To move beyond that initial spark of curiosity and to really explore things in more depth.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it doesn't mean that they have to like stifle their curiosity.
Yeah.
But it just means that they can direct it a little bit more intentionally.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And what about in their relationships? Like what kind of advice?
Yeah, so because Geminis are so good at communicating.
Yeah.
I think it's really important for them to also work on their listening skills.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like genuine connection.
Yeah.
Requires that back and forth.
Yeah.
That give and take.
Yeah.
And they have a lot of natural charm.
Yeah.
But building lasting relationships requires patience.
Yeah.
It requires empathy.
Yeah.
And it requires a willingness to really be present with the other person.
Yeah. Yeah. So it's like they've got this like quick energy, but they also need to cultivate this like grounded, sustained attention.
Yeah.
Totally. Both internally and in their relationships. So it's really about like finding that balance and leveraging the full potential of their multifaceted nature. So wow, we've really taken a deep dive into Gemini, and it's clear that this is a sign that's characterized by just this like vibrant energy, this intellectual curiosity, this adaptability,
and this real drive to learn and to experience. And I think what's so fascinating is that duality, the symbol of the twins, it's not a limitation. It's actually a real source of power and potential. So it leaves us with this question, like, how can we all, regardless of our sign, learn to better understand and integrate the different parts of ourselves, even the parts that seem contradictory, because I think when we do that, we can create a more complete and vibrant, expression of who we are.
Totally. It's something to think about.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, well, that's our deep dive on Gemini.
On Gemini.
Thanks for listening.
Thank you.
We'll see you next time.
See you next time.